good evening, good afternoon. If you're watching on YouTube, good morning, whatever time of the day it is for you. This is Sandy from Ledoux Designs. And tonight we are going to make some of our stamps into Christmas themed stamps. So we're going to change it from what it was to something else, because everybody needs Christmas, and why not use what you already have instead of having to buy more. So that is what we're going to do tonight. For those of you who have gotten the free digital download this month, it was birthday cakes, party hats, balloons, and such. And tonight we're going to use these hats and make them Christmas hats so that we can put Christmas hats on some of our images. So I wanted to show you, before we actually color and make the cards, I wanted to show you guys, if somebody could say hi so I can make sure I can see the comments, that would be super great. But hey Cheryl, so I cut a few of them out so we could play with them first. Hi Shalana. And then I also pulled out some paper. We don't have any Christmas paper in our shop, but there are lots of people who do. So I have a few of those. This is my Mind's Eye. This is Scrappy Boy, and this is Brutus Monroe. So we may use one of those. We might make it into a shaker card. I really haven't decided what we're doing tonight, so I kind of have everything out. Hey, Stacy. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you got it super fast. We try to get it out the door super fast. So the stamps that I pulled were the current release, which is the adorable Rock On and Feel the Beat. And then I also pulled the dogs because we did the cats last week, and I just wanted to show how easy it is to put hats on all of the different characters. So I also pulled some of our ephemera, so we can just place them on top before we color them all, so you can see what they'd look like if they had little Christmas hats on, and how easy it would be to make them into a Christmas card. So I'm going to pull these out, the ones that I have. I might not have too many of them, but we'll see. This is the kitten we did the last time. This is the adorable, mischievous little gal right here. That's all different colors. And then there's also the Rock On, but I also pulled the Alice in Wonderland, only because I think Alice could look really cute with the little Christmas hat on, and maybe our Cheshire Cat. So let me pull that out. And you could really use any of your images, I mean, honestly. But I'm going to show you what they look like by using these hats that I cut out. And because this is free digital download, you can make them whatever size you want. So you have a lot of variety there. I don't know that our queen will work, but let's try her and see. And then we also have the white rabbit, so let's play with the white rabbit as well. So this is just a few of the ephemera sets that we have in the shop, and then I'll show you kind of what we're going to do with our current release stamps tonight. But I also want to show you what it would look like if I put it on any of these guys and not just the one that we're going to use tonight. But I think we're also going to do a little bit of paper piecing for some Christmas clothes. So you'll get to see that as well. Okay, so let's look at these. We have a whole bunch here. If we took this little guy and we colored him in Christmas colors, we could put this could be a party hat, or it could be a Santa hat. So depending on how you color it. If you wanted him to be silly, you could give him a really little hat. That's pretty silly. Or you could give him a very big hat where it's just a little bit too big for his head. So I just sized them all differently. But with the queen, it would probably work with this one. You could trim off her hat and then put this one on, over top of it so it doesn't stick out. And she could have Christmas or birthday party. And then Alice is the same way. Her bow is a little bit big, so I would just trim the sides and give her a cute little hat. And I'd probably put it down pretty low, and she almost looks like an elf, so she might be actually a really good one, because you could make her a cute little elf in little elf clothes. Maybe we'll do that one tonight. That worked out a little bit better than I thought. This one is probably good for the teeny tiny little hat. So these guys can be playing in the band and they can all have Christmas hats on. And the cool part is in the stamp set, I actually gave you a Christmas sentiment for you to use. I like this one better on the monkey. So this one could go on the monkey. This one can go on the alligator. So now we have them all with party hats. So the little one looks really cute on the Cheshire Cat. So you can fit it like in between his ears, or you can put one over his ear like that. And he'll be cute. So party hat or Christmas hat. And then here's the kittens, which you know they always get in the trees and the Christmas trees and stuff. So they can be partying, or they could have Christmas hats on. So I think Christmas hats would be really fun. Look at this one. So cute. This one has her head turned, so she could have her little hat on the side, or it could be up here. However you want to do it on her. This one, you could put it on her little head. Gosh, she looks cute. That's like a little party person. You can make them too big and kind of put them over an eye so it looks like it fell down, like maybe on their head. You know? Maybe this one. Like his hat's too big and it fell over his eyes a little bit. And that would be cute. And then this is the one I was originally thinking about doing tonight, was this little party girl. But I kind of like the little elf idea. So I might be switching it up to that one, since we've been doing a lot of the other ones lately. So maybe we'll do that. I think this one would go on the white rabbit. Really cute. The little bitty one would look really cute on him. So anyway, the hats, the balloons, they're all in one set and they're free on the website. So you can just go out and choose whatever, choose to download it, and it'll be free. And then tonight we're going to take Alice and we're going to make her into a little elf. So stick around so you can see how that happens. I think dogs and cats, you can just put them in a Christmas environment and they're fine. But the rest of them, you can just work with them. We can do paper piecing with her little outfit. And we can do the hat. I think we should use this size hat. I'm just testing them out here. Hey, Beth. Yeah, we need this one. I think this one's too big. Yeah. So this size works. So we'll use this hat. And then we'll paper piece her an outfit. And I didn't pull that one, so, and I think we'll probably use some of the music notes from that. But let me grab that stamp set so I can show you how we're going to do this. Hey, crafty peeps. Let me grab the Alice set. Oh, there's the Mad Hatter. Oh, here's Alice. All right, I got her. Okay, here we go. So this is our set, and these are in the Black Friday sale. So if you haven't gotten them and you want them, you can always pick them up. But we're going to use this Alice, but she's not going to look like Alice when we get done. So when you decide that you're going to paper piece like a little image, I like to stamp it on the paper pad. Oh, she's stuck on my board. So I'll just take whatever I want her little dress to look like. So I could do it in candy canes, or I could do it in a really, I'm trying to think of what the background would be like, or we could do it in candy stripes, or I kind of like this one. That gives you a lot more variety. I really like this paper pad, by the way. This is from Brutus Monroe. I think it was last year's. Oh, and there's a few Scrappy Boys on the back side. I know these ones in the back are extras I had. I think maybe we'll just do 2. That way, if we'll try these 2, and that way if it sometimes when you stamp it on there, it doesn't look quite as good as you imagined in your head. So we'll stamp it on both of them, and that way, if we don't like it, we can always change it. And then we'll need a background paper, but I'm sure we can find one in there that'll go with it. And then we'll pick our paper and everything all at once. So no worries. I might do a shaker card. I do have some of the diamond embellishments here in a little baggie. So if we decide to do it, we'll probably use that one. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this girl, and I don't really need her whole body to be on the stamp set. I only need this center part because that's the part you're going to see. I also don't need the bow, so I'm not really worried about that. Normally I would do the bow and stamp it on here and cut it out as well so it matches her outfit, but you won't see it because of the hat. So I don't really have to worry about that so much. And then we won't be coloring over it, so I'm going to use the VersaFine Clair so we can see it really well on the paper. And I'm just going to ink, you know, not all of her, but just the area of her that I need, which is just the body. And then I'm going to kind of hold it over the areas to sort of see how candy related I want this image to be. So I'm going to try and capture several different designs all in one. So I'm going to stamp that on there. This will cut our coloring down too, so you can do this for anything. So that gives me the image of the dress right there. And it does look like my screen is stuttering again, so I hope we don't lose the contact. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this one going this way because I do like that, but I think I would like it going the other way better. So I'm going to do it both ways. Yeah, I think those don't show the stripes quite as well. So I think I would rather do it this way, because you get a little bit more variety. Well, it kind of looks the same. I think I'm going to end up liking this one, but we'll see. Remind you of paper dolls? Yes, I made paper dolls on a video once, like with all the little, tabs and everything to put clothes on one of my dolls, because I wanted to show that you can make paper dolls out of any of them. So I did that once on a video. It's not on my YouTube. It's actually on somebody else's YouTube, but I don't know if that YouTube is still active or not, so maybe I'll have to do it again. Oh, we're still going to need her because we got to stamp her to use her. Okay, I have extra paper right here from when I printed out the, I think I'm going to have to do this with my Misty. When I printed out the digital images, I had leftover paper, so we're going to use that so it doesn't go to waste, because you know I don't like my paper to go to waste. So I'm just going to cut out this little square that I need in order to do her. I can see how this would make you think of paper dolls for sure. It's kind of what paper piecing is all about. It's just replacing whatever was there or whatever you would have to color with the actual image, so that you don't have to color it and you can have it all fancied up the way that you want it. So it's pretty cool. I like paper piecing. I don't do it all that often, but I do like it. So remember now, we're going to change her into a little elf. So she's going to have little elf shoes and little elf leggings and all that good stuff. So she will look very elf-like when we get done. And I don't know, maybe we should have more than one. I don't know. More than one elf. Maybe we need a boy elf too. What can we use for our boy elf? No, I think the only boy that I have is, the only boy that I have that I've drawn has a spacesuit on, so we can't really use him. Although we do have the Mad Hatter. I don't know if the Mad Hatter will, if his hat and hair is too big, but we can try it. So we have the Mad Hatter right here. That's this little guy. So we would have to take the teapots out of his hand or put presents or something in there. But, you know, while we're at it, we might as well go all in. Are you guys all in? If you're all in for watching, I'm all in for doing. So I'm going to cut another piece of this. And then we're going to stamp him. And we're also going to put him on the paper so we can cut a little bit of his out of the same pattern so he'll look the same. And we might as well try him, right? We should probably test and see if the hat will fit on him that I printed or if I have to print another one. Oh, the superhero stamp. Good call. You're right. There is a boy superhero we could totally do that with. Let's see if the hat will fit on the Mad Hatter. See, I'm afraid his hat is too big. Although we could potentially do it, I guess. A lot more work and he has crazy eyes. So I think that's a good idea. You are right. Let's try and make the superhero. Because the superhero one really comes to mind. I think he would be a great one to do. Can you grab that superhero for me right there? Right, since you're standing over there, please, Dale. The one with the boy superhero. And I think he'd be perfect with her. Okay, here we go. All right, we can just change his clothes. We're just going to put him in elf clothes. All right, here we go. All right, good call, Beth. It just didn't come to me. But you are correct. This would be a really cute little elf. So let's make them both into little elves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test my red ink on this to see if I can hide some of this design that's on his outfit. I know what we can do. We can see if we can stamp it on the back. I wonder if it would work. I don't know, but let's test it and see. See, he could be a really cute, and he's facing the right way, so he could be with her. I think they would be really cute little elves. Let's see. Oh my gosh, perfect. He's going to be perfect. That was a very good call. See, that's why I have you guys crafting with me, because you can help me with everything. All right, here we go. So we don't need his face. We just need his body. And I'm going to try my VersaFine Clair red. I don't know how close it is, but we can also try the green and see if one can be a little bit like no lines. kind of, just to see if it would hide some of the design in there. I think you'll still see the design, but we can try and stamp it on the back, maybe. I don't know if it'll work, but we can try it and see. I think if we flip it over, though, I don't know if it'll work, but let's try it and see. I think the green for this is the best choice to not be able to see it so much. Or I could stamp it off once. So once on paper and then once on here. And then it'll be a lot lighter. So we have that potential, which I think is pretty good. And then let's see what the red does on the red. I wasn't sure what colors these were. I just bought them hoping they were going to be close. So this one would put him in a little bit more of the red design. I kind of like him in the red. This one in the red design. And if we stamp off once, I wonder if it'll be better. Well, at least we'll have a bunch of them. We can decide from there what we think. One here and one here. Ooh, that's going to be good. I think it's going to be good in that one. All right. Perfect. Now we have all of our samples to play around with. So here we go. This is work in progress, so some might work, some might not. But we'll just roll along and see if we can figure it out as we go along and make it work out and look good. And we'll just roll with it like that. I'm okay with that if you guys are okay with that. So we'll let these dry a little bit. We will have to cut out our images, though. We will have to wait for that. And I could put the bigger hat on him and the littler hat on her. I think it would work. It's really cute. My goodness. What can I say? Let's cut these out real quick, just so we already have them cut. This is supposed to be like little ties, and I'm just going to cut them off because I don't really want to show that her laces are tied on the outside, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm sorry you have to watch me cut out. I didn't know that we were going to stamp that many times, or I would have had her already ready. I never know what I'm going to do sometimes before I do it. I've been taking care of a few things today that I needed to get done. And I'm not sure if that stuttering ruined my seeing you guys' comments, so I hope not, but you might be quiet watching. I'm not sure. But while I have you here, I want to let you know that since Thursday's Thanksgiving, we're not going to have a live on Thanksgiving because I know everybody needs to be with family. So we're going to miss that one this week, but I'm going to do my best to be able to post speed coloring video potentially on Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff so that you'll be able to see, still be able to see some coloring even if I'm not online. And just as a heads up, I will be doing Craft Roulette on the 12th, so maybe mark your calendars for that Friday if you're available to come hang out with me and make a card. That would be really, really fun. If you've never done Craft Roulette, I'll be posting in the group like a link to come watch. You should try it. It's a lot of fun. They choose parameters and then we just make a card while we're on the while we're live. So you get to watch me in action the same way you guys do when you watch me here. But there's a lot of talking in the chat room, and you can chat with people and ask questions and join in, and it's pretty fun. And then I would be crafting with Mary Gunn Fun, and yeah, you guys could learn how to do craft roulette. It's a lot of fun. I do them whenever I get a chance, but it's every Friday night. So sometimes Friday nights usually are date night, so sometimes that clashes with doing craft roulette. But I wish I could fast forward this part for you guys, but I'm trying to cut it as fast as I can without messing it up. But we'll color it next. But remember, we don't have to color nearly as much because we're going to be paper piecing, unless this guy, unless his outfit doesn't work, and then we'll have to color over. We'll just put him in dark green colors to cover up some of the lines. No lines coloring would probably be better for that. But since I'm cutting this guy out, we're using him. No matter what we got to do, we'll figure it out. If we don't like it, then we'll paper piece over it. Which is some tips to, if you mess up something, how you can fix it. You can paper piece over it. And that would be fun as well. I do have, I have drawn some, oh, hey, Angela. Yes, I wish they'd pick a different day of the week sometimes too, because Friday is date night, but yeah. But I'll be on there on the 12th. It's nice to see you, Angela. But I would have probably picked another day for the live, except that we're going to be traveling on the holidays, so I won't be able to do a different day. But that's okay. You guys can catch me when I come back around. All right, we're done. Yay. That was the hardest part. I do, excuse me, I do need to trim out this lip. Oh, I hate this. I have a new one. I hate that X-Acto knife. This one's usually really sharp, but it kind of cuts into the... It's a self-healing mat, so it doesn't really matter, but it is really... I'm really not used to it yet, this actual blade. It should be cutting way better than that. It's not. It's tearing the paper, but that's okay. Let me see if I can find my traditional one. I'll have to work on that new one. This is the one I usually use. Oh, you were on vacation. I saw that you said you were somewhere. I remember seeing that somewhere. Oh, in our group text, I remember seeing that you were gone.
Your mother's on.
Yeah, I see that. Hey, Mom. Okay, that's all I'm going to trim on that. I have the hiccups. I'm so sorry. So I'm keep fading in and out on my commenting because I have the hiccups. And that makes life challenging when you're doing this. I think that if we're going to do one in this, we should do one in this. So we need to have more than one. So this is more cutting. But whenever I cut out for paper piecing, I cut on the black line. I don't leave the little white edge around it because I don't want you to see like the legs and all the extra stuff. So I cut directly on the line when paper piecing, which is not my favorite thing to do, cutting directly on the line, but it works. So you want to cut out just the outfit. So we're cutting out the arms and all of the other stuff. We're only cutting the dress, the sleeves. So you just need the outfit. So you cut everything else out. That is the target for this. So if you hate fussy cutting this, you may have to have a brother scan and cut, or you just kind of have to do it. So you got to cut her little neck out right here, because we don't want her neck to look like a candy cane. So just like that. I don't mind fussy cutting, so this doesn't bother me at all. But look at how cute this dress is going to be. It's going to fit right on top of her because we're using a stamp. So you can't really go wrong with like the size or anything. It's going to be just perfect. Although I just had a thought that wouldn't it be really cute to make their hat? Look at her little outfit. Isn't that adorable? And we'll place it right over top of her regular, like this, after we color her. It will look so cute. So that works out really good. Let's see what we can do with this one. Let's do the boy. I'm trying to decide if I want to do this one or this one. And I don't think I want to do his boots. I think I'm going to leave his boots for a different color. So I think I just want his outfit. Maybe I'll do them both and try them out and see what I think, since I won't have to cut too much. But I want to leave his boots because I really like them. So I am going to cut, I'm going to leave the boots out like this and cut the little outfit out. Just like this. Here we go. Around the boots. We will have to cut up into between his arms where I had to use the X-Acto, but I don't have to use it here because it doesn't matter. I need to cut all of this insides out. And honestly, we're going to cut his hands off too. That sounds so bad, doesn't it? We're going to cut his hands off. Yeah, we just want his outfit. So, cutting the hands off. And then the head. We're going to cut his head off. Going to cut his arms off. This sounds like a very wicked video going on here. Or maybe I'll just cut along this. I don't even want his belt to look like that. So you can kind of alter, although I bet now it'll show. So that was probably a mistake. But we have another one stamped, so we can just put it over top. But yeah, here we go. So this part right here is his neck. So I'm going to cut that out. This is going to be like a, what do you call him? He kind of looks like a little bit like an Iron Man or a Captain America. I don't know which one he looks more like. But his little outfit is going to make him look, oh my gosh, it's so cute. I don't know. I kind of like it, y'all. I'm not kidding. I really like it. I think we're going to cut out the other one just because I cut the waist part off. And I think he needs to be in red and she needs to be in the green and red. So I kind of like that. Although this does sound kind of fun. You know, maybe I just want to cut him out again because I get to cut like his head off. I sound like a crazy person. Okay, here we go. Right, this one's a little bit harder to see only because I stamped off first, but we kind of want that. We kind of want it to be really, really light. And if you wanted to go in great detail, you could, you know, cut off like the arm bands or whatever and color them a different color. So there's a lot of variety you can do with this when you're cutting the pieces apart like this. So choose what you want to do and then roll with it. But I would suggest stamping a couple of them in case you decide that you've changed your mind like I did after you already cut it. So this one, I thought, oh, I don't want that belt to be on to be so big, but then I was forgetting this is going to cover the other stuff. So if I cut it off, then it will still show on here, and we don't want that. So we have to have all the pieces cover up what we need them to cover up, or we have to stamp with no lines so you can't see them. You could always put like a shadow around them or something like that to cover it up. So there are ways of getting around it. You just have to decide what works best for you. Here's his little hand. And then all we have to do is go up this arm and we are finished. So not too bad to do. You could always do the top a different color, the bottom a different color. You just pick whatever you want to do and roll with it. So I like that better, where you can't see the lines quite so defined as this one was. So I think we're going to roll with that one for now. And then I do have another hat if we decide this one's too big, because I had several of them printed out on the papers, and they are right here. So I had several, although I think I just cut through some of them, but they might have been on the back of the papers we just cut out. But I could print another one really fast if I wanted to. Oh no, here they are. So if we wanted this hat for him, we have an extra one because I printed several. So I think the bigger one is better though because of his hair. Yeah, he needs the bigger one and she needs the smaller one. Okay, I'm decided. That I'm for sure going with that. The other day when I was at a little expo, I tried to look for something that would work for making snow, but I didn't really have anything. So right now what I'm doing is I'm cutting out the exact same size, since I don't have a stamp for this, of this triangle piece, because I want to make that the same color as their outfits. So in order to do that, I'm going to need this triangular piece so that I can trace it onto the paper and then cut it out. And then that way we can have the same color up here on their hats. So this one is the same size as hers. So all I need is the triangle part. So this is pretty easy to cut. So don't feel intimidated by it. And there's also balloons that you can overlap if you want. There's a cake that the frog fits on top of if you want to put the frog on top of the cake. There's candles that you can make big and cover the whole background. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. So here we go. I'm just going to grab probably a multi-liner. Oh no, I think I'll pull my slick rider. So a slick rider, if you've never heard of them before, they look like this. They're called slick riders. But the cool part is they write on this, and then you don't have to give them much time and they're already dry. So if we're going to trace this, I want it to dry pretty fast so I don't smear it. Don't move. Let's turn it around. There we go. And you could just glue this down or whatever, but that's all I need is just a basic idea of the size of that. And then for this one, where did my other one go? There's my hat. There's my hat. Oh, how many people does this happen to? Like, where's the top of the hat I cut out? Oh, here it is. Okay, so now we're gonna, I think we cut him out going in this direction. So we're going to draw the hat, maybe like this. And since I'm tracing the outside, I probably want to cut on the inside of that black line. So I'll cut most of the black line off so that it'll fit right inside. So that's all you have to do for the hat. That's pretty simple. So this part is a little bit more tedious than coloring to me, but those that don't know how to color or don't want to color, this is easier. This little guy could be Elvis, just add a microphone. And we have a microphone too. Yeah, he could be. You're right. He could be Elvis. He would be a good Elvis. And I could totally add a microphone, and we could add like all kinds of cool like bling to his outfit. And a little cape. Okay, let's see how well this worked out that I cut out. Because I didn't do it all that wavy, but there we go. So that's good. I just need to cut a few more little bits out of the waviness. So this should go up a little bit like this, and then a little bit like that. And I don't want to cut too much, so I'm just trimming it a little. And I think that'll work perfectly. And then that will match her little outfit. Look how cute that is. That goes perfectly. And then his little outfit is the bigger one, which is right here. And we didn't even use that much paper. So I can make a bunch more of these all in one shot. And I'm going to cut on the inside of the line, just like I did with the other one. This would be a great speed coloring video because I could speed all this cutting up that you guys probably are bored watching. So I'm trying to entertain you with my talking. Hopefully, at least I'm saying something that might keep you intrigued. All right, here's the other one. This one goes right here. I did a little better with the bumps on that one, but honestly, it was bigger. So look how cute that's going to be. Oh my gosh. You know, speaking of the microphone, you can easily cut the microphone off of this stand for the stamp set and use it. So this one right here, you can easily trim that off and just use the microphone. That would be so funny. Okay, let's get a little bit of color on these guys. I was going to color the hat, but we just didn't even need to do that, did we? All right, so we're going to need skin tone. I'm pretty sure these guys don't get a lot of sun since they live up at the North Pole, so we're not going to make them with dark skin tones at all. We're going to kind of stick with the lighter skin tone. So I'm going to go with the RV95, E13, E11, E00, and E000. So this is my combination right here. And wait till you see how different she looks, then she's going to look when we get done. So let me zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing on my coloring. And I'm going to set their clothing aside. We don't have to worry about staying within the lines because we're going to cover it up with the paper. So let's get her a little bit of skin color on here. Her little neck, her little arms. And I'm not going to do her legs because we are going to give her like stockings on. So we're not going to color her legs yet. And then him, we'll just do these together since they're little and there's only two. I think we could do them at the same time. And I don't have to be real careful not to get it on their outfit because we paper piecing. I don't do this a lot. I feel like I should do it more because it's fun. You can make your person have whatever clothes you want. I think that's awesome. And I'm going to add R20 for their cheeks when we get to that point. We're not there yet, but when we get there, we're going to add R20 for their cheeks. So RV95 first for the shadowy areas. Again, I don't want a whole lot just because they are at the North Pole. And I don't think they don't sunbathe often. They might ice bathe. That doesn't sound like much fun. Or hot tub, but not usually when the sun's out. Sounds like a little piece of heaven to me. All right, we're going to do around his hairline as well. I don't know why, but I just need to make his hair black, I think. It just speaks to me in black. There we go. And then the neck, of course, is going to have more shadow on it. The hands. There we go. Next, we're going to move on to E13. This one. I told you this was going to be a quick throw it together project. So this is my, this one is still going to be a little bit dark for the shadow colors, but don't worry, it's going to lighten up a lot when we get to the next couple of colors. So this is just keeping our shadow. We have one more color before our highlight color, so. We're just extending from where we put that last color, just bringing it out. One first quick go round, and then I'm going to come back and kind of blend that line so we don't have a line there. Because you know I don't like to have a line. And then the little hands. There we go. And the next one we'll do a little bit more like on the nose and stuff. And then we'll add the cheeks, the cheeky color. I almost blew, and that would have blown my clothes and everything all over the place. I really have this really cute stamp set I just got from Sassy Club that I can't wait to do for you guys. It's so cute. I also got one from CC Designs. I can't stand it. It's so cute. All right, here we go. Kind of filling in this ear. Starting to fill in a little bit more on his face. Skipping the eyebrows for now. Soften that meet up point right there. There we go. Kind of under his eyes a little bit, around the face, a little bit on the nose. I don't like to give them big noses, but I do like to put a little bit with this color. Just because I feel like it needs just a tad bit of a nose, but not too much. All right, so we're getting there. We're almost there. All right, now we're going to add some cheek color. So for him, I'm going to use the side of my marker and touch really, really light because I don't want his to be too colored. And then for hers, I'm going to put just a little bit more down, a little bit more pressure, and a little bit more color. So I really want hers to show up as a little bit of rouge on her cheeks. This is E00. It's my last color, so this is my last blend up of this. Then we'll have the skin done. So kind of just blending those colors together and getting me a smooth skin tone here. You can always go back and add in more blush if you want the cheeks to be more rosier after you finish, which I do for her. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that R20 one more time right now while the ink is all wet. I'm going to add just a little bit more to her cheeks. I won't be doing that for his, but I do want to do it for hers because I want hers to show up just a tad bit more than his. So I didn't go over the pink, I just went over the edges of the pink this time so that it wouldn't lighten it up. And then she is finished. Then I'll go over his. It'll look brighter pink while it's wet, but as soon as it dries, it won't look quite as pink. Just while the ink is wet on the paper, you'll be able to see it a little better. Well, I think the skin tone's really good for them. He's got that sneaky little look on his face, like, I know what you're getting for Christmas. All right, here we go. I like the skin tones. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I missed his neck, so we should probably fix that. This is E11. Since it's under his chin, we might as well have it done. Now we need to pick hair color. And I think because this is all red, that his hair color would look really good in a dark, dark black. And I think since hers is green and red, that her hair would look better as blonde. So I'm going to do blonde and black hair tonight. So whenever you're doing black hair, if you want it to look natural, you have to add a little bit of blue underneath it to give it that natural hair color. Otherwise, it just looks flat black. So tonight, I'm going to use B12. I don't usually use B12, but tonight I'm feeling B12. And I'm going to pull... I'll tell you how many I'm going to pull, but I don't know that I'll use them all. But I'm going to pull the B12 for underneath, and then the number 100, the C10, C8, 7, and 6 are the other colors. So I'm going to use those on his hair, and then her hair, I want hers to look more of a dirty blonde. So I'm going to grab, we're going to grab the E50s. So I have, oh, we might put let's put a little bit of yellow in there at the end, because that'll finish it up and make it really look blonde-ish. So we're going to use E57, 55, 53, and then E51 and Y11, but I don't know which one of these, in what order we're going to use these. I need to test the color to see which one's darker and which one's lighter, and then we'll go with it like that. So this is the 51, and this is the Y11. So the 11 needs to go first. And we'll just match it up with the 53. Yeah, the 11 will go next to the 53, and we'll have blonde hair. Okay, so those are our colors. Yeah, we picked those kind of fast, huh? Okay, let's start with him. We're going to give him black hair. So he's going to need a bit of B12 base color in there. And I usually just try to go a little bit like around the center area, wherever the light would hit it the most. It also helps me remember that I need to leave a little bit of highlight for him by having this little bit of blue on there. Otherwise, I forget. We don't want his eyebrows to look funny, so we'll just put a little bit in there too. And that's it for the blue for now. I'm going to skip 100 because that's the one we're going to use to add any strands of hair if we need it at the end. And I'm going to start with C10 right after I take a drink. Are you guys still with me? This one, we're going to do those brush strokes out, but not necessarily side by side. I am trying to stay with the artist drawn lines. And I'm also trying to keep like a border around his forehead. I don't always do that, but I'm feeling it tonight, so we're doing it tonight. Just the most important part is that your brush strokes go with the hair. If you want it to look natural, you have to go with the direction of the hair. So that can be a little challenging. Don't be afraid to turn your image around to do that. Some people do brush strokes better towards themselves and some away. Sometimes I can do both and sometimes I can't. So tonight seems to be a good night for me. Doing a little bit where the hair is overlapping to add a little bit of depth on the ends. Also where the artist drawn lines are. I'm not going to do the very top though. Yay, you're still here. Woohoo! So I'm going to do the underside of his eyebrow. If you have trouble with really fine lines, you can skip that part. Okay, now the next one, C8. I'm going to jump to C8. Ta-da! C8. Now my brush strokes are going to get longer and try to go in between where you put the color before. Keep with the shape of the hair, shape of the head. Doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as you're close. I'm feeling like towards me is working a little better tonight than away from me. You never know. You have to test sometimes to see what you're feeling at the moment. In between starts building that hair-like texture. You can tell I'm barely touching the paper because sometimes I'm missing. But that's typical. Adding a couple of tiny strands in there just to keep that hair type going. Okay, so next we have C7. And we only have one more after this. So this one is going to have more of it in there, but also it's going to go making sure that around the outside is completely covered with color. And I usually do this to myself. I can already tell it's lighter than what I wanted it to be. It's starting to look like he has gray hair instead of black hair. And that's because I'm always afraid I'm going to do it way too dark to start out with. So I sometimes go a little bit lighter first. And that's why I pulled out the 100. So I can come back in and add some more darkness to this hair. Because right now, it's a little bit on the light side, not really the black I was going for. So we will have to deepen that up, however we have to do that. Which is why I added a little bit more of this color than originally intended. Also, we need to do his eyebrows. There we go. Now he has eyebrows, and then he's going to get, the last one is C6. Be careful with this one. You want to touch very, very light because this one will start to wash out the color. So I'm really just going over anywhere that has any white or blue visible to cover it up. so that we have highlights. Notice I'm only touching it one time. I don't want to blend any of this color out. So leaving it really, really light. Now that's cute in itself, but it's still a little bit lighter than what I had intended. So I'm going to come back in with the 100. This one, really, really dark black. And add some brush strokes in there. Just to deepen that hair color up. These last strokes are really important that you stay in the direction of the hair, because if you don't, you will see it. I'm also going to define out that little curl he has in the front. I want to be able to see that. And then I'm going to come from the other direction as well. Kind of clean up those edges and keep that hair going in the way that I want it to go. Seems to be going a little bit smoother this way, so I turned my image around. I want to keep these little curls at the top. This is really dark color, so you want to be pretty careful with that. Now, because it made such a big jump, we're going to have to go back in with our C10. I mean, this is 8. Sorry. We want to go back in with our C10 and fill in a little bit more. This is making it look darker, but I don't want to go over where I put that last color. I just want to go in between them. I did before. It's just adding those strands of hair so that it looks more like natural hair. As long as you're going in the correct direction, you can't go wrong deepening the hair up like this. Just got to make sure you're staying with the direction of the hair. Now you can still see some of that blue showing, which is the important part to make it look more natural. I like that a lot better. It's just a little bit deeper look. I think we need to deepen up right over his ear. There we go. So that's much better. That's very Elvis looking. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, so we have hair on this guy. And now we're going to work on hers. So E57 is the dark one. And I don't want a lot because we really want this to just look light, dirty blonde. So just a little bit. So I'm going to put this closest to her head. Honestly, this looks like a baby poop color. So I don't want a whole lot of that. We don't want to give her really dirty, like she forgot to wash her hair color. So we gotta be careful. And then probably a little bit up here, not that you will even probably be able to see that because we're gonna put a hat on her, but just in case. We're gonna put a little bit up there. And then I'm gonna put a little bit in between where the hairlines are to separate the strands of hair. And that's it. Now we're going to switch to the next color, which is going to be E55, which is also going to be it's going to be a little bit more on the dark side than the lighter side compared to the other colors we're using. So just a few brush strokes will bring that together. Also, this is the one that I'm going to use for this bottom section down here, because the underside of her hair will appear to be darker due to shadows. So I'm just going to put that down there. And then we're going to put a little bit up here. So even though we're going to cover some of this up, it's still kind of nice to have that that color in there. So it looks good before you put the hat on it. I don't want to guess what's going to be covered up and what's not, so we're just going to do it all. And then we don't have to worry about it. All right, so the next one is going to be E53. This one's a lot lighter. But again, we need to be able to see those strands of hair, so we're just going to start building those in a little bit here. This time I'm going the opposite direction so you can see them. And then I'm going to thicken up this part that's right up close to her head, because that usually stays a bit darker than the rest. There we go. And then up here, I just pulled this color out of my head. Blonde is the hardest one, I think, for me to pick what color, because I always end up with really dark blonde hair, but this one seems to be going fairly well. And that's kind of a pretty color just by itself, but you can add the yellow to really bring it out into looking like blonde. So we're going to use that Y11, and we're not going to use a lot of it, but we are going to do it very lightly, just kind of over top, not blending, just adding the strands of hair. Doesn't matter if you go where the clothes are, because we're going to cover that up. Kind of doing that back and forth. Now you could leave it like that again, but I'm going to add the last color, which is E51, which should bring it all together. It'll deepen up this part underneath here. Kind of blend that out a little bit. Still want to keep that yellow, so I'm just doing the parts that are close to like her body. And then this one, I'll go up from the tips. I'm actually going to leave a little bit of white. If there is some, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going over all of it. I'm just kind of blending and softening with this color. So now we have blonde and black hair. So this one is really pretty. I like that blonde colors. Really pretty. And this is the black one. That one's really nice too. So now we need eye color, and then we have to choose the leggings that'll go with this. So I can't decide if I want to do black and white or red and white for her. I think maybe red and white, but you let me know what you think for her leggings, and we'll go from there. Let's do their eyes. I'm going to make their eyes green because there is green in the color. Let's see. I think I'm just going to use 3 greens. I'm going to use YG67. Their eyes are really small, especially hers. So I just need a little bit right at the edges. I mean, we'll go in and darken their eye colors as well, their pupils. So just at the top, down the side, just going to get a little bit of that dark green. That was YG67. This one is YG17. And I know I usually use G00, but tonight we're going to use YG21 for the last step, because I'm trying to keep these colors matching the papers we're going to use. So I'm going to add YG, I said 21, but maybe I want to use 23. Nope, I want to use 21. YG21, which is more of a yellow green. So see the difference between the 23 and the 21. I want them to be really light at the bottom of their eyes. just makes them look a little more glassy to me. And they'll look even better when we do the black centers of their eyes. So I'm going to use the multi-liner for that. And I think I'm going to use this one because it's very tiny. This is my Copic multi-liner 0.25 because I want to be able to see, I want to be able to do these really tiny eyes without going over or into the white. So I think that'll really help. And you can already tell just by looking at that one what the difference is between the two. I'm going to do her eyelashes and her eyebrow too, just because I want her eyes to stand out. So here we go. We'll still use the white gel pen for the whites, but I just wanted to leave a little bit there. So you just want to make sure you're not using a really thick multi-liner so that it stands out. So quiet, my son fixed me pizza rolls. Well, that's okay. We all know we got to eat some good stuff. Pizza rolls sounds yummy. Everybody's kind of quiet tonight. I think they're all just watching the steps. There we go. So you can see the difference in the eyes. I mean, look at that huge jump in eye color. It's really big deal with these. Tonight you can really see it. Sometimes you can't see it so much, but tonight it really is making a difference. I think the bigger the eyes, the more you can see it. I'm also going to put just a little bit in his little, like around his eyes, just because I feel like they're so gray that they look a little bit funny. I'm not going to do them solid. Just add a couple of lines in there. I just don't want them to look so different from the rest of his eyes. All right. So let's go with red and white stripes on her leggings. So I kind of need to sketch those in. So I'm going to do that with my white color, which is C1. I might need C3, but we'll see. And then the red, I think this red is more like the E29, E20, maybe E27. I mean I'm sorry, R29 or R27. I think 27 might be closer to the red. I don't know. Let me see. Maybe 29 is good. Yeah, I like the 29. And then this is 24, a little bit too light. So I think I'm going to go with R29 and 27 for the striped leggings. And they're going to go this way, not this way. Just so they stay different. So with C1, we'll build those stripes. So I'm just going to put them in here like this so I can see what I'm doing. So I want to make sure I have them kind of the same on both sides. I know this is probably hard for you guys to see, but I promise I can see it. So if her skirt is, this is the way I evaluate. If her skirt, see how her skirt is more green and white? So I don't want to start with white. I want to start with red. So it's going to go, it's going to go red, white, red, white, red. So that's perfect. We have the perfect amount of stripes. No worries. I'm going to start with R29. It's okay. And what I'm going to do is go on the sides. And then one little stripe along the bottom. So the sides, because we only have two colors. One at the top, one at the bottom, leaving the center area open. And then we're going to do exactly the same on this side. Trying to keep them close. There we go. I usually like to do the white first, but I'm already this far in. Now I'm just going to blend that a little bit.
Oh, that's cute.
That's how we give our little leggings, little striped leggings. And then I'm going to grab my C3 for the white part, and I'm just going to put it like on the sides. Just going down. There's only 4, so not a big deal, but also not blending because I don't want to pull the red into my white areas. Then I'm going to go back to C1, and I'm just going to pull out a little bit from where I put that darkest color. Just a little bit. Be careful not to touch the red. Just want to touch the white. And then I'm going to use my colorless blender real quick. I'm going to need this piece of paper. I'm going to go straight back and forth on the white part. Don't touch the red. And then I'm going to go just a little bit inside the center of the red, just to give me a little bit of a highlight. So I like to do that right down the center. And it just kind of makes it look like there's a highlight color in there, even though we didn't do a highlight color. It just makes them look rounded. You love the leggings? Yay! Okay. So now she has her leggings, and then for their booties, I guess, I might actually do green on her, maybe black on his, but we'll see. Okay, so for the tops of the hats, like I want the balls and stuff to be white, but I really want them to be, I need them to have some texture or something to them. So I'm going to look and see what I have in my drawer to see if I have anything I can make a little bit of texture with. Oh my gosh, it just hit me. I know what I have. Hold on, let me see if I can find them in my drawer across the room. So hang tight. I think I have those little fuzzy balls. Those little, like, you know, fuzzy balls that you can buy. Oh, I do. All right, we're going to use those for sure. Just making sure I don't have something else. I'll show you. I'm going to bring it onto the screen so you can see what I'm looking at. I have this, but I don't have it out a lot because I don't really use these embellishments that much. But I have this little case that has a bunch of stuff I don't use very often, but look at these. I think those are going to work really good. So let's see. Well, that one works perfect right there for sure. But I wonder if we put them, let me use the ones that don't have a point on them. They might work better. I was wondering if we could put them, like, I wonder if they'll fit along the bottom. I bet they will. I'm feeling confident. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 4, there's 5, 4, 5, 6. And we need one for the top. Let me see if I have any that are a little bit bigger. There's the last one. So we need 7. I don't know if they're going to work quite as well on this one because his hat's so much bigger, but I think they might be okay. 2, 3. We could do red on his though. They're a little bit bigger. The red balls are a little bit bigger. So we can try the red and see what they look like, and if they don't look good, we can come back to the white. But the reds are a little bit bigger than the white ones, so I think the red might actually look better. 5, 6, and 7. So I'll put those back in for now. And this we won't have to color it. We can just, you know, attach those, and that would be really cute. So let's put those aside along with our clothes that we're about to put on our dolls as soon as we finish our shoes. So for hers, I think green shoes will be the best. So I'm going to use the greens that we used for the eyes. So this is YG67, which is the darker of the 2 colors. So I'm going to make that very dark at the top and then kind of work down. And I'm going to do the little soles in that dark green as well. We want to kind of round that because you don't want that to look square. I'll go over it a second time just because I can see the black line in there. And that's okay. Then we're going to add YG17 down here, which is a much lighter green. I'm not sure the YG21 is going to do the trick on these shoes. I think we're going to need a darker color. So I'm going to grab YG03. Because it's more green and less yellow, and I think it'll be the best. So I'm just going to work that until it's a little smooth area there on the tops of her shoes. I'll come back in with the darker color and kind of darken it up a little bit. So YG17. And then I'm going to use the YG03 again. And maybe I'll just tip to tip just so I get a little bit of a darker color on there. There we go, that's perfect. Okay, so now she has little green booties. We're gonna make his green as well, or no, we're gonna make his black. He doesn't need green shoes. He's red and white. He doesn't need green. He needs, I think green would look funny on him, so I'm gonna stick with black for his shoes. I'm gonna start with C10. Again, I want them to be darker, so if I need to, I'm gonna round this off as well. I don't want it to look really pointy like it does. I just want it to look like it's all one boot area, not 2 different designs. So just kind of trying to round that out a little bit. There we go. And then I'll use the C8. I kind of used a lot because I want to keep these boots pretty dark and I don't want to have to recolor them like we did the hair. So I'm kind of adding a lot of this color because when we hit the next color, it's going to start lightening everything up. And I want his boots to stay dark. All right, C7 is the last one we're going to use. It's going to be our highlight. If we need to do tip to tip, we can do that as well. Oh no, I think it's going to be fine. This one. Just kind of blending those together. He's got big boots. All right, now it is time to add our clothes to our little peoples here. So I'm going to grab my Barely Art glue, which is one thing I really love about my Barely Art glue is that the tip is so tiny that you can do tiny amounts of glue on there. So we have this in the shop, but yes, it's not on the sale. We already tried to give you the discount all the time on this one that we're allowed to. So, and it should place exactly over top of it because you stamped it from the same exact stamp. So we're just kind of sliding it around, which the Barely Art glue allows for, until you get it exactly where you want it. I know, right? And then I'm going to use this to press it on so we have it on there perfectly. And then I'm going to work on his hat. So we might as well get him all done in one shot. So I'm going to take his little hat. You know, if you needed to, like if you didn't think you cut this like perfectly to fit on there, you could always take like a dark red and just kind of go along this area right here, just so no white will show, just in case. I don't think we needed that, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. See, it kind of covers all of that, so. But you could add that if you thought that you might not be meeting up with it exactly right. So there's that hat. And then we're going to put these on it. Now you can use double-sided sticky tape like glue dot, like, you know, glue dots, or you can use glue, or you can use whatever. I have some little round glue dots right here. So I think I'm going to use them and the glue just to make sure I get a really good hold. So I like to take the little balls and put them on the glue dots. I feel like it's just easier that way sometimes. You can flatten them out a little bit. I find they work better on the glue dots, but you can use the glue, you just have to wait a little bit longer for it to dry. Hold them still. But these are just as easy, maybe faster. So I like them. Here we go. Just press them down pretty good. We'll just have to do that one more time to get us all the little dots we need. I would start from the center and work your way out to make sure you don't put them too far out or too close so they all fit together. I'm going to actually just apply a little bit of glue so when I touch with this glue dot, if I don't get it right in the right spot, I can switch it up. But I think right here. Oh, they're going to stick to my fingers now. How nice of them. Okay. All right, that's pretty cool. Then I'm going to grab this one. And I'm going to put it right next to this one. I'm going to squish them kind of close together. So I want them to be pretty close. Since we used red, if we wanted to, we could have put red underneath. I didn't think about that till just now. So mine doesn't have it on there. But you can also do this with party hats if you have these little balls in all kinds of different colors. You can make party hats like this too. I think these are cute. Hi, other Beth. Both Beths are watching. Hi, Beths. Beth 1 and Beth 2. Okay. Now I'm going to put the one on the end. They actually went together way better than I thought they were going to. I was a little bit nervous about them not covering up everything, but they look like they do. They cover it up very nicely. And we get dimensions, so I like that. This one won't be the same shape, but I think it's okay. I think it's still going to be cute. And it could just be like a little red dot inside the white dot. I got it too stuck to my tweezers. There we go. Ooh, slippery little suckers. I want to put just a little bit more glue on this side so I can make sure it lays down. Just gonna hold it there for a minute with my little, whoever gets this card will be overjoyed. I think that's awesome. You never know. Lately I've been just shoving cards in packages and people have been getting them with their orders. Okay, now we have a little hat. It's so cute. How perfect is that? Look at him. Oh my gosh. Isn't he just the cutest ever? Okay, sorry. He is really cute. All right, now we got to put her together. I would recommend that no lines ink that you can get. I can't remember where you get it. Maybe Spellbinders or something like that. I can't remember. You can Google it, I bet. Where you put the ink down, you stamp with it, and then you heat emboss and it disappears. Maybe somebody on here will know what that is. And then it would make all those designs disappear on there. I mean, you can't see them very well, but you can see them a little bit. Look at that outfit. Oh my gosh.
It's cute.
It's really cute. It came out really good. I like it a lot. Okay. Now we have to make her hat. I'll put glue on here. This is going to be super cute. I don't know what kind of paper we're going to put on the background, though. I have no idea. You guys, I might need help with that for sure. Okay, I want to make sure I get that on there right. Right now I'm a little crooked. There we go. Okay, perfect. There we go. When I get it where I want it, then I press it down with my soda press because that just makes everything stick really well. And then we have to do this thing again. This time I'm just going to pick them up with my hands and stick them to the glue dot. Tear off that piece. And we're going to take my magnet and hold that down so I can put these on here a little faster now that I know that it works. These are a little bit smaller than the other ones, so they'll probably work really good for this size hat. So look at that. I made the hats perfect size for these little balls, and I didn't even have that planned. I like it when that happens. And this one and this one and this one are smaller than all the rest, so those are the ones I'm going to put on the ends. I don't know why, but they just look smaller. So I'm going to start off with this one. Looks like it's one of the biggest ones. So I'm going to start with that one up here. Once I get that on there where I want it. There we go. Then this one. Let's put our glue in here so we can make sure we can move them around. We'll put this one right here. Oops, it stuck to my finger. Don't you hate it when that happens? I do. All right, next one, the other biggest one. I want that to be on this side. So I'm kind of squishing them together because I really want them to be close enough so that they all fit in there. Then this one, I'm going to scrunch that one in there too. There we go. Oh, that was a good one. And then I'm going to scrunch this one on the other side, right up in there, like that. Now we just have two more. One's on the end, which I think are going to work just fine. One there, and the other one over here. And then I'm going to press them down real quick with my soda press to make sure they stick. Ha-ha! And now we have another one. Versamark ink. It's it's an ink that you have to heat up. Versamark. It could be. I'm not sure what it's called. I know I saw a video on it. I need to look it up again because I really want some of it. Okay, this one we're going to have to cut a little bit off of her bow. So I'm just going to cut all of this off right now. Starting up a little bit high just because I don't want to cut too much. Oh, it's going to be perfect. How cute that is. Holy cow. I can barely stand it. That is so cute. Okay, so I think I want to put hers a little sideways. So I'm going to make sure that I cut off one side of these. The other side I don't really care about because I kind of want it to be like this. But I didn't want that back piece of hair showing. So I think that will work perfect. And then her hat will be just slightly crooked on her head. Oh my goodness. I told you you can make any stamp look in any way that you want it to. All you have to do is just try to imagine it how you want it to be. And then you can make it that way. I put a little glue on the back of this hat so it'll stay on her head. Now I'm going to squish her head. I use it to heat emboss my embossing powder. Yes, I do too, but I know there's an ink that when you stamp, it looks like brown ink. I mean, it really looks like brown ink. You can color and everything, and then once you're done coloring, all you have to do is heat emboss, and the brown lines disappear. I think that's pretty cool, but I can't remember what ink it says it is. I love the little hair sticking out over here. Okay. We're going to put this on here. We're going to put this one on his head. Then we have to get our card ready. I'm going to leave that little bit of hair sticking out just because I think it's cute. Like this little tuft of hair right here. I'm going to move it up just a little. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Look at these little elves. Oh my gosh. How cute are they? Cuteness overload. I agree. I agree. I wasn't sure. You never know how they're going to work out. You know, I was going to make a shaker card, but I don't think the colors that I have are going to look right. Well, I could pick the blues out of that, and then it would be perfect. Maybe a shaker card. I think I want to do that. So I think I could do a shaker card with this. I just need to pick out these little, and really, I don't mind. And just pick out these little blue pieces. I don't want these blue pieces in there. Oh, there's blue penguins too. But if I miss one, it's okay. But these big ones, I just don't want to see the big ones in there. Those little penguins are stinking cute though. I could add them to something else later. Because I don't want to waste them. I'm okay with the small pieces. I just don't like the little beads and stuff. I'm okay with that in there being a different color. Because I'll just put a bunch of other red, probably these in there with it. So, but I don't want those great big ones in there. So I don't usually pick things out of my, well, no, that's not true. That would be a bold-faced lie. I always pick stuff out of my shaker bits. You guys, if it doesn't fit, I just take it out and add it to another one. I mean, and it's okay to have the penguins in there. I just want to save them for something else because I feel like they'd look better on a different something. So now these shaker bits will work just fine in my shaker card. And I'll save these for another time. So I have an empty one of these trays. So I will just wipe this off the table into my little tray. Into my little tidy tray. And then pour it in there. And then I will have them for a later time. I can use these and probably these in a shaker card, and we can make a shaker card. I think these will look good in there. They were just the extra diamonds that I had left over, so there's nothing wrong with using those. All right, so now our background paper, let me zoom out so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Okay. So I kind of wanted to use something other than this. I don't want to overpower it with too many candy stripes. So, and I don't think this color is necessarily the right tone of color. So I think I'm going to have to stick with the Scrappy Boy one. So let's see if we have something that matches with this one. Because, I mean, that's cute. That's not really right. But I know I saw one that would work really well. Like this. Or, I can't wait to use, or maybe this. Oh, that's way too busy. It's killing me. Or, I don't know, holly and mistletoe. You can maybe use both of those together. Or what about the presents? I mean, we know we need presents. These are elves. Is it too busy with the presents? Maybe if we put them on the dots and then use the presents in the background, it might be better. I think that would be a good idea. Like that with some presents around it that match. I think that's good. Let's try it and see what happens. I think those are my only options. I mean, we have wreaths, but they're kind of busy too. So I think I'm going to stick with those. There's my shaker thingy. I think these guys are going to have to go on the outside because of the balls we put on their hats. Or maybe we just make a small... Oh, I have a great idea. I know what we're going to do. I'm ready. I know what we're going to do. Okay, let me grab a card base. We need a card base for this. So I don't really think green's going to do it for me. I don't think I have any gold. I think it's going to have to be red. Let me see if I have any of that really dark red, like cranberry red or whatever it's called. Like I think this color red is what color it needs to be. And then I know I have some gold glitter that we could use. So let me grab it because I know I have lots of fancy stuff that I never use. Gold paper. This paper is so old. But we can use this gold paper. I think it'll match with the presents, which is awesome. And wait till you see what we do with the presents. I'm excited. I have a great idea. And we're going to roll with it too. All right. Okay, time to cut the cards for the card base. So this is going to be our actual card base. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that. Are you guys ready? This is how my brain works. Are we ready to make the cutest Christmas card yet? I'm a little bit off on my lineup on this, so I need to fix it. There we go. Now it's straightened out. Okay, so we have this one, and then I feel like the gold needs to be the background paper, the matte for everything. So I'm going to do it. If this is 5.5 by 4 1/4, then this is going to be 5 1/4 by 4 and by 4. And that'll give me the background. And then that will go on here. All right, and then this one we're gonna do at just under 4. So it's gonna be like an 1/8 inch smaller, if that works. Let's see. I just want a teeny bit of gold around the edges. I don't want a whole lot. So I think maybe a little bit more would be great. Like one more notch. Another 1/16 off. And then that will be perfect. Okay, so we need to do the same thing with this one. So we had this one at 5 1/4 and I went 3 notches down. So this should make it perfect. Border all the way around. Perfect. And then we're going to add this one. I mean, I'm already cutting. I might as well cut more. Anybody know what I'm doing now? I'll let you guess. I'd like to know if anyone can guess what we're doing now. I mean, if you've made shaker cards a lot, you'll know exactly what I'm doing. I'm a-waiting. I feel like I should be doing that music like do-do-do, do-do-do, like I'm waiting for an answer, like on a game show. I know you guys are eating and doing all kinds of stuff while you're listening to me, so no one's by the typewriter and by the keyboard, and that's okay. I can wait. Yes, that's exactly right. Presents within the shaker. So we know that we have like some happy faces and some gemstones, but adding a couple of presents inside there that are moving around, I think is going to be great. Because we are going to put the polka dotted paper at the bottom so that we can see our elves really well. And when we shake it around, we want to be able to see those presents moving. And they'll move onto the dotted area and you'll be able to see them really well. And they'll also be up on the paper that you can see in the background. So that's kind of cool as well. And if I felt really rambunctious, I'd cut out these ornaments too on this background paper and just stick them in there. But I'm not feeling that. Tonight, I'm just doing the presents. And you don't need a whole bunch, but I feel like they're here, and why throw away this piece of paper that I've cut through when you could just put the presents on there. So again, you guys have to watch me fussy cut, but it is a square, so it shouldn't take us too long to cut them out. They don't have to be cut out perfect. People are going to know what they are. They're going to stand out. You just don't want to see the white around them, so I'm trying to cut all the white off so they just look like wrapped presents. And the more you put in, the more you see them. But this is the only piece of paper I have, so I'm just cutting the presents out of this one piece of paper. I mean, I have one more, but I don't want to cut that one up too. I just think this makes it, you know, just a little bit more fun, and it helps add to the shaker because you only have so much shaker bits that I think this helps add to it. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. So you guys can ask me any questions. If you have any questions, like, you know, what other stamps could you make into Christmas? Well, tonight I originally planned on doing the little elephant and then paper piecing her outfit in Christmas and then having her sing like Christmas carols, you know, because it says we have a rockin' Christmas as a sentiment on the stamp set. So for this one, I'm gonna have to try to find a Merry Christmas stamp set. I don't know if I have any, so that might get added later because this is really the base, and you guys shouldn't have to wait for me to actually find a stamp set that has Merry Christmas on it. I think I have one I think I bought one from the Ton, but I think it's one of those where you gotta stamp the whole stamp, like the whole 4x6 stamp, and then die cut them all at one time and then use those. And I just feel like that just takes too long. I'd rather have them individual. But I definitely want to put like Merry Christmas, or maybe I'll even type up a sentiment that says, you know, getting ready for Christmas or something. 'Twas the night before Christmas would be a good one if I had that one. I had these stamp sets from this other company where I had drawn a whole bunch of stuff and they had sentiments. And I got rid of all of the sentiments and only kept the images that I drew. So I have a whole lot of missing. So I cut them all out of this. So I'm going to toss this. So I'm missing a lot of sentiments because of that. So this paper was the 3 notches smaller than the 4. And I want this dotted paper to match up with that one. And then this way, we did it the same way. So it was 5 1/4, and then this one was 5. Wait, I might have to measure this one. I can't remember. So sometimes I do my measurements like this. I don't recommend them to other people, but I do it. But it's not recommended. Okay, and now I want them to stand on, let's see, so I could put him up higher and her down lower, like this. So I kind of need to make sure the paper's at least 1 3/4 wide. There we go. And then we'll put that at the bottom, which matches everything, so that's kind of perfect. All right, so here's how we're gonna put this together. We're gonna glue these pieces together, but not to this yet, because we gotta build the shaker card. So this Barely Art glue or any kind of glue doesn't stick well to like glitter paper like this, so I'm going to use this Suk Wang sticky stuff because I just struggle with getting things to stick to glitter. but I love using glitters paper, so sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get what you want. But you want to make sure there's no sticky hanging over the edges, that's for sure. Because otherwise your shaker bits will stick to it. That would be bad. And I'm going to put it all the way around, only because the shaker bits are going to be in there. And I just don't want them sticking to the back of this. So, here we go. I like the back of this paper. It's pretty. Like little bows. The rest of it I'll put glued just so I can move it around. Turned an ornament stamp into a Grinch. Oh, see? Look at there. That's awesome. I think I might have actually seen that. Did you post that? Or maybe I'm just thinking of something else. You should post your stuff. I think you post sometimes. I see sometimes, but you know you can post that stuff in our group, right? I don't want this to stick too fast before I have a chance to move it around. Okay, here we go. So I want that to be just a bit of a border. A little bit, oop, too far, too far, too far. Come on. I'm going to have to stand up to line this up. You guys know how that goes sometimes. Sometimes you just have to stand up so you can see what you're doing. There we go. Sometimes standing up helps. I mean, I don't have an Apple Watch anymore that tells me to stand up all the time, so. There we go. We want to make sure that gets on there all nice and tight. Okay, now we can use just barely art glue for this part because paper will stick to paper easily. You guys tell my glue's coming out so much better since I just refilled them. And then it's going to match up with the Christmas paper just at the bottom. So you just get to slide it until it fits in that perfect spot. And the barely art glue will allow you to slide it around, but not for very long. So make sure you're paying attention. Don't lay it down and come back to it. You won't be able to move it around. Okay, so there is a little bit of a notch there. So you may have some problems with your shaker bits sticking in there, but I think that's okay. So these are our shaker windows that are in the shop. Yes, you can, yeah, you can post, it doesn't matter what you make or whose product it is. You can post whatever you want in the group. So I take my tweezers and I do along this edge right here to lift up that plastic piece. And I always do it way over here on the edge in case I scratch the acetate. And our shakers windows have it on both sides. So you're going to need to remove it on both sides in order for the shaker window to be clear. Okay, so both sides. And then it's completely clear. That's the way you want it to be. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it inside. Okay. And then I'm going to put this tape around the outside. So from edge to edge, all the way around the outside. So 4 sides. I do the long sides first, usually short sides later. Now this actual tape is a little bit longer than these, so you'll still have some sticky, but I still add more afterwards just to make sure my shaker sticks really well. But yeah, you could use a smaller, thinner, the smaller one of these, but this is my go-to one, and I tend to always pick this one up, so it just is what it is. And I just ran out of my even bigger one because I made another album and it took up all my tapes, so now I gotta get some more. You know how that goes. All right, so now we have it in there. It doesn't matter which direction it is, but it is good that I looked because I do have a piece of my hair stuck in there, which would be terrible. No one needs purple hair with their fancy red and gold and green Christmas card. Okay, when you do these, this is super easy, but it is important to know that you should fold them first so you can make sure that they hold their shape. Because sometimes once you press one down, you shift the paper and it moves over here, and then it's off. It's off. It doesn't match up with the edges like it's supposed to. So I say fold them all first, so you have that good fold, and then bend them back a little bit, just enough to remove the sticky. And then I do the two outsides first, the bigger sides. So one side first and then the other. And then that way it holds it in place the way you want. And then I just run this along this edge, this along this edge. And then we're going to remove one of these. I don't really care if it's the top or the bottom. You just need to remove one. Just press this down. And then we'll lift it up. And this is when you add your shaker bits. So you can bend this back. We're going to add our shaker bits. And then I'm going to add some presents. So I'm going to mix it up. Not all of one and all of the other, or they don't mix together well. But I am going to have to be careful that I drop the presents in going in the correct direction. Otherwise, we have these funny looking non-presents. They won't flip once the shaker pouch is closed, but right now, because of the static cling of the whole thing, they could potentially flip. So you want to get them in there the right way, because we don't, well, and the other side's bows, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but I want them to be presents, so we're going to make sure mine are presents. I should have probably dropped all of this in before I did all of that. Go down there. Go on. Oh, don't flip. Don't flip. Don't flip. Okay, they're all going the right way right now. These little clay pieces tend to want to stick to this container sometimes. But I want every bit of them peppermints in my shaker pouch. So I'm going to pick them up and drop them in here. Oh, I found another present. So I want the present in there. Oh, another present. Wow, I cut a lot of them out. There's another one. Another one, another one, another one. All right, I think I got them all in there. They look like they're pretty good. They're all right side, facing the right side. So I'm going to flip this back over. I'll put these in there too. More pieces that escaped. That one just keeps jumping right back out, even though I keep putting it in. All right, now I'm going to peel this off and press that down. I do this around the edge. And then when we turn it over, we have presents and shaker bits all over in there. Isn't that cool? That's really cool looking. I like that. Yep. Presents and all the cute little shaker bits. And yes, there's still even a penguin in there, which I'm okay with because the blue is not overpowering, but it would have been if we'd have left those big pieces in there. Now this part goes on top of here, so we have a red border around it. So normally this amount of tape that's left over and Barely Art glue would hold it, but I just have that big fear, so I don't measure them perfectly. I just peel off a piece and put it on top of the plastic because I want to make sure the plastic sticks to my card as well. This one was a little bit long. I didn't eyeball that so well. Let's see if I can do this one a little better. It doesn't have to go all the way, but you don't want it to go over, so. It's probably double doing it, but it makes me happy, so it is what it is. That way I know it's absolutely not going to come apart ever, unless you rip it to shreds. And then I'm going to put glue over the tape so I make sure I can still move it around. And then we're going to place our people on the front. And then we should be finished minus the sentiment that I can do later. Because we want to make sure we get this going. One, in the right direction, right side up, and two, on the card so it opens correctly. I have recently done one on a video. For those of you who are watching me, you know. I finished a card and it opened in the wrong way. And I haven't done that to myself in a really long time. But sometimes talking on a video and recording at the same time and trying to do a card, sometimes you just miss it just can happen because you're so distracted by all of the things you're trying to keep up with while you're creating live. And then I'm just going to press this. I'm not going to use that because you can sometimes like dent the shaker bits into the plastic. So usually this last step I just do by hand. I just don't want to press it too hard, you know? Okay. Now, we can put this little guy right here. Oh, these are so cute, you guys. So cute. And you can glue right to the acetate. No problem with that at all. I think I'm even, if I stamp a sentiment, I'm going to even stamp it with the VersaFine Clay red one that I have, because I think it'll be perfect. So there's my little boy elf, and here's my little girl elf. And I tend to put my characters on the outside most of the time anyway. I don't know why I do that. I think most people put them inside, maybe. But I just feel more comfortable with them on the outside. And I want her down a little bit further. Oh my God. These are so cute. I can't even. Sometimes I don't even know where I come up with these ideas. I'm definitely going to do that one again for sure. She is stinking cute. Oh, you know what? I think I have some sentiments right here that are supposed to be Christmas. Wait, that one's Thanksgiving. That's Thanksgiving. That's Thanksgiving. Here's the Christmas. Here's the Christmas ones. Oh, no peeking. That is a good one. That's perfect. Oh, look, you could even do From Your Secret Santa. How awesome is that? See these brilliant ideas that come up just at the last minute. I just cut them out of here like this. I just hope I get a fairly straight line when I do it. Just looking to see if there's another sentiment that'll go really good with this. No peeking. Well, it's a lot of presents, so I think it's really cute. Oh, here we go. Perfect. It says, do not open till December 25th. Do not open till December 25th. No peeking. I'm laughing at my own card, you guys. I can't even help it. All right, we are almost done. You guys hung in there. Aren't you proud of yourself? And now you know, I mean, how fun is this to take your stamps that are not Christmas and make them Christmas? You have such a sense of accomplishment when you finish it because you're like, wow, nobody is going to have a card like that, you know? I think I should turn this one. Maybe this way. I have to hold them for a second when you glue them on the acetate because they move around for just a second or two before they stick. There we go. Look at that. You like it? Cottonhead Ninny Muggins? That's right. Exactly. Isn't that? That makes me laugh. I remember that. That movie is so funny. I love that movie. That's one of my favorites. I don't remember where I got these. I think I got them at a garage sale. Somebody was getting rid of them, and there's a whole bunch of Christmas and a whole bunch of Thanksgiving. And I was like, for a quarter, whatever, I'll take them. But I don't usually buy sentiments like that. I usually prefer to stamp them, but those are quick and right to the point. So, and since I have so many Christmas ones, it works out super great. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you'll try it. Definitely post stuff in the group. It's absolutely fine for you to post even if it's not our product. I mean, after all, that's Scrappy Boy paper. That's Brutus Monroe paper. Yeah, there are stamps, but it still has other people's stuff on it. And we promote other people, so we're totally fine with that. So feel free to post. I would like activity, so feel free to post in the group. And don't forget that the sale is still on until Monday after Thanksgiving. And there are some things that are selling pretty fast. So make sure that you get it before it's gone. Or, yeah, sorry. Make sure you grab what you want. Because, I mean, literally, I'm not kidding. There are some paper packs and stuff that only have like 1 to 3 of them left. So if there's things like that you want, you might want to grab them right away. Also, there are a lot of stencils, you guys. So, well, Sandy and Dale and everyone, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And I will see you after Thanksgiving, and we'll get busy with all kinds of new stuff. I did get these. Oh, I was telling you about this. We are totally doing this. Look at this. Is that not the cutest stinking thing? This is CC Designs, but I love Roberto Rascal stuff, and these are so stinking cute. And on top of that, so are these. Hotel Transylvania. How fun is that? We're going to have some serious fun. So I have those. I have a whole bunch coming from Sassy Club. So I look forward to doing more crafting with you guys. If you have not gotten the free Digi Stamp set, you should go out there and grab it. There's a cake, candles, balloons, and these hats that you can make any size you want. So go out there and grab them because the whole set is free. So love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. If you've already shopped, thank you for shopping. We greatly appreciate you supporting our small business. And we will see you guys after the holiday. Have a great Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you. Good night. Haha. I was just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. The new release will be right after the holidays. So it shipped today. Yeah, it shipped today. So we should have it in-house mid next week. So yeah, real soon. Real soon. It's a little bit of a smaller release, but it's going to have some extra other things. But I think you guys are going to like it. I'm excited about the potential of what's coming in the new release. We will have a release in December. It won't be a big one like it normally is because lots of people have already spent their money. But we're going to do it anyway. So, okay, now, good night. We're thankful for you. Ask me a question at the last minute. I don't turn off the thing. Good night.